What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here. In this video, I wanted to give some suggestions for making Sub-Zero a better character that are 1, reasonable, 2, doable, nothing like crazy that requires new animation or some kind of crazy stuff, and 3, considerate of the other player who has to fight against it. Now, this is rare for me because normally I don't care what you guys have to deal with. However, I understand a lot of you guys coming from MKX and dealing with that clone. If you were on the receiving end of Sub-Zero in the corner, it was a one-player game. Wasn't very fun. So I'm suggesting things that are also not super scrubby and easy mode to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is concede his damage. His damage is a huge issue now because you factor in all the issues that he has. But if you fix some of this stuff, his damage won't be an issue. First thing I would do is I would take the ice ball and I would extend its duration on hit by at least 1 full second. What this does is now in these weird trade situations, Sub-Zero can then come up and have enough time for a full combo, even on a weird trade. I mean, you've already put his damage into the ground. I mean, so it's not something where you're going to lose 50% here. The next thing I would do is I would go over his strings and I would fix a few of them here. So 1-2, I would remove the gap. 2-1, I would remove the gap. And I would remove the gap in forward 1-2-3. Then I would take forward 1-2-3 and I would ask myself, why are there strings that launch that are safe and this string here that only knocks down? Not only is it full combo punishable on block, but it also has a gap for you to armor out of. Like, what is so devastating about this string? So I would make it maybe like -7, very high negative frames, even -8, you know, something that's not really combo punishable, but high negative frames, and I would remove the gap on this string as well. This way he has some type of thing he can do to check you to stop trying to armor through clone, and we'll get to that in a second. So the ice clone. The clone is out for 1 second. The problem is your recovery on the ice clone is it's god awful. It's really, really, really bad. So by the time you can move, 70% of the ice clone timer has already gone by. So by the time you get there, it's about to expire anyway. What I would do is I would change the recovery slightly. Sub-Zero recovers slightly faster, right? Not a whole lot. I didn't say it has to be safe because I don't believe in, we're going to get to the clone cancel. And keep the clone out for longer. Maybe out for 2 seconds. Now this way, I would say 2.5 if you keep the recovery the way it is. But if you change the recovery, then you can keep it out for 2. So this way he can move a little faster behind it. He gets a little more time to do something behind it. The cooldown on the ice clone is 3.5. I would revert it back to 2.5. So now when the clone expires, he can clone again in 2.5 seconds. It used to be 2. Actually in 9 and X, they can keep it at 2.5, and that's fine. So yeah, I would shave at least a full second off of the clone timer. Then we have clone cancels. So right now, let me just go ahead and show you. So we'll just do clone and block, and we'll do no clone and block. So do you notice here the situation where it's a common situation where you're trying to bait out the punish, but there's no way to bait it because the clone is so negative that Opponents will never armor, will never attempt to punish unless they physically see it. So there's no mind game, there's no baiting. If you clone, it is just guaranteed damage. I mean, and there's no mind game, there's no defense, there's no recourse you have. So what I would do is, I would still keep the clone cancel on save, but I would make it so it's safe enough that they actually have to guess to armor through it. So none of this like, oh, wait to see it and then armor. This way, when they see it, it's too late. So I would make it a mind game, which frees up being able to do this or even this. I think that's fair. You still have the option to punish it. It's just a guess. It's a mind game. Like everything else in this game when you deal with other characters, there's a mind game in that. I'm just giving Sub-Zero the same mind game every other character has in situations like this. All right, so now throw into clone. Let me address that right now because I'm sure somebody is thinking, what happens here? Okay, so when you throw them, the clone would automatically shatter. Even though a few characters already have throws into cameos, and they think that's fine, I realize those people will literally cut their guts out and spill their guts all over the floor if they get thrown into an ice clone. So just to concede to those people, we will remove any ability to throw into a clone. What this does is it removes the scrubby factor of it. So now when you put clone out, since it will be out for like 2 seconds and possibly you recover faster, right? Now you can do things like slide into the clone and it will probably freeze them, right? Or at least EX slide into the clone. Full combo it on block because it's only out for 2 seconds, so they'll still be able to full combo you. Also, it frees up things like some pressure options here. So, right, something like this, clones out, there's some good pressure now. I can, maybe jump kick you. You mistime the anti-air, you go into ice clone, right? If you don't try to anti-air me, clone would reset because the clone timer is now up. So, Sub-Zero will then force you to make a decision to defend your position. Guess what I'm going to do? Whether you're going to armor, whether you're going to neutral jump, whether you're going to try to anti-air and make me change the trajectory of the jump kick. If I think you're going to anti-air, I would have to change the trajectory to hit you somewhere around here, right? However, I get no pressure in this situation. It's only like, and also you can also up block, right? So you can up block all these things you can do to punish me, right? If I read that, I empty jump, right? Throw, or just I'll have enough time to reclone and reloop the situation, right? This allows me to keep pressure on you in the corner. This allows me to do everything I want to do pressure-wise and mind game-wise. Now, of course, if I empty jump and I'm wrong, you jab me out of there, you full combo me. It's supposed to be a mind game of what are you going to do to stop me from keeping you trapped here, right? Now, your options are just as rewarding as my options. Of course, I control the situation because I'm the one that has you cornered. However, we both have options here. And none of these options are scrubby. It's me predicting what I think your response is going to be to what you think I'm going to do. This is, if somebody is reading you 10 times in a row, you can't cry, scrubbiness. You're not getting 50-50'd. There's no mix-up, and you're not getting thrown into an ice clone. This forces the Sub-Zero player to keep you trapped by simply knowing how you're going to respond every single time. And that's a you problem, not a Sub-Zero problem. This way, he has some type of high-level corner game where nobody can cry, scrubbiness, anyone off the street can do it. Because I promise you, not everyone off the street can. Most people, they want the overhead low, they want the throw in a clone, they want the easy stuff. These suggestions for Sub-Zero give him defensive capability back, as well as give him some offense and some pressure. This is what's important for him to be a successful character in this game, and I don't think these changes that I am suggesting have gone too far. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, I appreciate all the feedback. Stay tuned for more content.